All right, as a preliminary matter, this is Rob Benchley, permitted to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present can hear me. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Caroline Ellis.
Yes.
Thank you. Mary Lathrop Will. Maybe not. Angus McLeod.
Here.
And Rob Benchley is here. I've learned that Clement cannot make this meeting.
Right.
Do we have any other? Well, anyway, we'll keep going. Good morning. This open meeting of the Sconset Advisory Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of the COVID emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda for materials of this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so the public can follow along with the deliberations. Ensuring public has access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Sconset Advisory Board is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted to the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided for members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Now returning to the first item of the agenda. Before we do so, we'll cover some ground rules. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude the remarks, I'll go down the list and line of members, inviting each by name and provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking, and please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak will state their names and be acknowledged and speak through and by the chair. Finally, each vote in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay. With that, is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Yes.
Second.
Great, thank you. All those in favor, Caroline,
Yes.
Mary Lathrop.
Yes.
Thank you. The chair notes the arrival of Mary Lathrop Will, Angus McLeod,
Aye.
and Rob Benchley is an aye. Under public comment, if I may just quickly, during one of our meetings, I don't know, last month sometime, I made a comment that was taken quite seriously by some people who were not happy with what I said. It was a suggestion I had made in pure levity, and it was taken rather seriously, and it started a little bit of a grass fire. So I don't think I regret making the comment, but I regret that it turned into something unintended. So, because people do watch our meetings and they do watch them after the fact sometimes. And so what I said was not taken too well, and there we go. Thank you. It had to do with Codfish Park, and I'll say no more. Okay. Item number 1. This is for 6 Head Row, am I correct? Yes. And we saw this briefly last week. And it's for some pretty major, or some revisions on the current dormer and second floor decks and the stairway on the, I think it's the west elevation. And anybody here representing the applicant?
I hope Steve is here.
Don't see
Mr.
it.
Chair, it's just you all today. I don't see anybody in. But I did
Okay,
want to
well,
notate that the NHL data, I did take a look at that, and it says it's 1989.
okay,
Oh,
did anybody, or are we familiar with the neighborhood in the fact that it's way down at the end of?
Yes, I'm familiar. What I'm not familiar with is the gable that is on the extreme southern side of the house, or the right side of the picture if you're looking at the house, that side. Okay, so on the right side along with the staircase. I wasn't aware that that gable was that much higher than the other two. That seems a little off to me to have. Isn't it generally the center of the house which is higher than the two wings? It seems a little odd to have the right hand wing being the tallest, but if that's, it doesn't indicate that that's new. So if that's already approved, I don't have much to say about that, but does that look off to others, symmetry wise?
That is awkward and unusual, and it is existing.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, it isn't bubbled, so I assumed it was, but that's peculiar. The staircase would be the other piece that feels awkward to me, but again, it's already in an awkward place. I mean, that's the awkward end of the house. I don't have the problem with the additional gables. Much problem.
Okay, thank you. I remember some things from last week, but anyway, Caroline, do you have any thoughts that? Now I see that view is the south, correct?
That's only visible. That part of the thing is really only visible from Underhill Lane.
Yeah.
A lot of fenestration.
Holly, do you have our comments from last week?
that would be helpful.
I don't know that Holly had time to look at them, but
Yeah, I do not have your comments.
okay,
My apologies.
that's okay.
Rob,
Yep.
one on that same southern view, we had discussed the gable and the small little gable to the left. It isn't on the view that I can see, but
Here we go.
yeah, no. I'm getting dizzy. No,
It must have been on the. I know Angus. This is Rob. I know Angus had made a comment about the new
yes.
gable dormer on the front elevation on the north side that faces the street.
The part that faces the street right there, that's the one.
Yeah. And that's great, Holly. And the little, and the diagram on the left is the existing.
Right.
And I remember Angus, or I remember a comment that
Oh,
The way it is better.
yeah.
Well, this is Angus. If you go to the photograph of the front, thanks, Holly. There's a certain amount of harmony there, and there's a certain amount that the chimney mitigates that awkward high peak
Agreed.
off to the right that you were talking about, Mary.
Yeah,
And so the removal of the chimney will exacerbate that issue there, because visually it's almost like that roof is lowered because the rake board ends at the, when it hits the chimney. Exactly. So which is almost the height of the main central body. So it helps for that chimney to be there, but also there's a certain amount of harmony, even though there's subtractive massing, which is discouraged for those windows looking out of the dormers and balconies facing the street. All those things are discouraged, but but there's a certain amount of harmony in it now I believe that the proposal changes dramatically
Yeah.
in a negative way, where it takes the symmetry in the middle and throws it off with a large dormer to the right and a small dormer to the left. It just kind of takes what already were issues and I think makes them worse on this house.
Yeah.
And I think I also had mentioned that the balcony off to the right, with there being a solid wall underneath there, it mitigates it a little bit.
Mhm.
Where these freestanding second floor decks are really discouraged. This makes something that is less visible more visible
Yeah.
by opening it all up underneath.
But not visible from the street, I don't believe, is it?
Well, it's on the front of the house. I don't
Is it
know.
kind
But
of behind the tree
it's way over, Angus, to the right, I
Yeah.
think.
with the tree obscure it? Well, the tree and the hedge.
Yeah,
it
this
is.
would be a good time of year to check it out because the foliage isn't there and you could go all the way to the end of hedgerow and see what's there. But in general, freestanding second floor decks are not within the guidelines.
Mhm.
Or freestanding stairs, which is proposed, whereas right now the stair is going down on the inside of the building. Yep.
Mhm.
I think it's
Uh,
very
any,
awkward.
sorry. On that screen, this is Rob, on that screen, any ideas what could work better visually, or I don't know if that would affect it would affect what's going on the inside of the building, but
Save time and money and leave it alone.
It was very nice.
Works for me.
Actually. Yeah, I'd say no.
Yeah, don't do it.
okay.
Because we know that it isn't, excuse me, it's Caroline. We know that it's possibly covered by trees, but I don't know that anybody looking at the drawing would know that. And I think it's awkward and we wouldn't want to see it anywhere else, and it's against the guidelines.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And I think we're in agreement about the exterior stairway.
Don't change it.
Okay, I know this is a little, it's a little confusing, but this particular application and how we first saw it and how we go forward, and the applicant's not here. I'm going to propose something a little bit of a change, a suggestion from the Historic Structures Advisory Board and Angus about how we get our thoughts written down on paper and submitted along with the video. And I'm afraid I can't institute that right now, but down the road, what I'd like to do is to give everybody an opportunity to sort of edit what we've said and then submit it to Holly. But that's for later. But this is a good example of how it's a little bit choppy, and we just want to be sure our thoughts get relayed to the board at large. So having said that, so we're thinking, and we're in agreement that maybe just leave that central mass alone. And also the exterior stairway is a problem.
Yeah, I don't think that we want to see the chimney leave. I think Angus's point about the chimney was very well taken, that it kind of, it provides a good bridge to the larger or taller mass of the southern end of the house, which could be awkward, but doesn't appear to be because the chimney provides that bridge. I personally don't mind the offset new suggested dormer, or the two new dormers in the central mass, but I understand why everybody prefers the old symmetry, and I do, but I don't have a real problem with the new submissions, but I do have a problem with the exterior open staircase and the lack of chimney.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, Holly, does what we said make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay.
And I also appreciate your comment about writing them up, and it is extremely helpful
Okay.
to be able to make sure that all your comments are adequately indicated. So thank you for that future update.
Okay, and if
Appreciate
it's
that.
okay with our board members, I realize that it's going to take a little bit more time on our part, to go back and forth. But Angus assures me that it's a good idea, and obviously Holly does too. So we'll try to get that going as soon as your chairman can get organized to.
And on that
Just-
note,
Just do it.
you could always send an email to Mickey Rowland and just ask him how that works with him. He sends it out for HSAB. Everybody
Yeah.
will take a look at it and then send, if there's any correction, to send that out. We just want to make sure, obviously, whatever is said is what was already said in the meeting, so we don't have any open meeting law issues.
Right.
But for the most part, it's extremely helpful. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Rob, before we leave this application, I haven't really made any comment about the backside, which I'm not sure how visible it is from Underhill Lane, but the same thing happens with there being a somewhat harmonious rear elevation that's existing now with symmetry of small door on the second floor and the windows to either side. And that when the doors get double the size and then get pushed over to one side, then that throws off that symmetry again as well. And again, the same thing with making sense of that higher gable that's off center. The chimney helps to mitigate that. And that is all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Angus. Yeah, that's it's really astonishing when you put those side by side.
Mm.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Are we good on that one? Should we move to Eldridge Lane for a solar array?
Solar, exciting.
So this is Sankaty Road, Meeting House Lane, Eldridge Lane, the Eldridge compound.
Mhm. This is Caroline. I don't have any problem.
Thank you.
Nor do I, Mary.
This is Rob. I don't have any issues. It's completely appropriate. There's one to the neighbor. There's visibility. Oh, there's no visibility is what I mean. Limited visibility is the word I'm looking at.
Especially the ones that are on the first story, absolutely no problem with those.
Mm.
Yeah, good.
I can't tell. Are these, this is Caroline. Are these the ones that don't have a silver edge to them? I can't tell from the drawings and I don't know enough. I'm sorry to say.
That's okay. And this is a different company. I'm not familiar with this.
I'm not either. The ones that I've seen are new and have a black edge to them. Actually, that we were trying to put at our house. And that would be my only comment. Is that they wouldn't catch the light. I mean,
Yeah, I don't see, there's a lot of stuff in here.
yeah, there is a lot. I think that's a minor thing. I just was impressed that they had gotten a better design that is all black.
Am I understanding correctly that the front of the house is facing Eldridge and the back of the house is facing south towards Meeting House?
Correct.
Yes.
And there are pictures from Meeting House of the back of the house there?
Correct.
Is
Yep.
that it?
That's correct.
This is the only photo that I see that's included from Meeting House. It looks like maybe those trees would mitigate it if you're standing over here, but I had that kind of thought as well.
So that picture that's further up towards the specs that shows the marker showing where the panels are, is that from Meeting House?
This
There.
one,
That one.
I don't think so. I think this
That
is
one.
from their property.
Well,
Because-
yeah, but it's
because-
on the Meeting House side of the property.
Yes, yes.
It seems like it's quite visible from Meeting House. I mean, not being in the core makes it a lot more palatable, but I wouldn't want it to be very visible, especially if it's confusing where the front of the house is. You know, when there's a deep buried lot and there isn't a street behind, you know, the street is at the front and that's all you see and everything behind it's hidden. But when the street runs behind it and it's open, my concern is visibility. If there's a thick evergreen cover and you don't see it, that seems a lot better.
I will note with interest that the name of the person who is making the application, Dan Kelly, is in fact the neighbor or now former neighbor who lives directly behind and would have the most vision of this particular solar array.
That is correct.
I mean, is this the view from Meeting House?
From Sankaty and Meeting House, that corner, yeah.
If you look at, so
That one.
here, yeah, so my understanding, and normally a lot of this, you've seen them, a lot of the solar companies will indicate with an arrow where they're taking that photo. So it looks like that photo is taken from about here.
Yeah,
But it's almost as if we need a view or a photo from here so you can see head on or even over here where the
Mhm.
bend is in Meeting House to actually discern whether or not you're going to be able to see it.
But that photo that's taken right where your cursor is, yeah, that's right below this this slide here. There, that looks like completely visible. Is
That
it
looks, I think it's taken inside the property.
that's right about there, yeah, where your
Yeah,
cursor.
Because if you look at, sorry, you guys, I don't want to get you off dizzy, but it looks like it's taken from over here in the yard,
Yeah.
not from the public way. It's
Yeah.
really hard to discern. I would suggest for them to provide a photo from this corner of Meeting House looking in.
I think that's really important to the success of this project.
Yep.
Yeah. Because maybe the branches will completely obstruct the view from the street.
This is
Awesome.
Rob. I seem to remember that there's a big line of pine trees that goes right down to the corner of Meeting House, and it's pretty well vegetated back there. But that's just from memory, and if you'd like, I can run over right now and look, but we probably don't have time for that. But yeah, I'm guessing that the HEC is going to want to see that view.
Yep. I'm going to recommend a view. If you all want to recommend a view, we can do that.
Yep, let's recommend the view, Mary, saying that.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Sounds good.
All right, nice.
I just don't, I
yep.
don't think, I don't see why it's offensive. I just have to say that. It's the back of the house. And I just can't see why it matters, but that's just my comment.
And for the record, I did note that, bless you, that the structure was built in 1971. So we're not obviously talking about a historic structure.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I saw some emails last week about 32 New Street, so that one's off the agenda.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yes.
scratch that off, and that will be before you sometime when it's completed. A
Great.
complete application.
Okay, thank you. On to other business.
Oh, yes. Other business is fascinating.
It is. Caroline, why don't you,
Well, did everybody see the letter that he forwarded?
Yes,
Yes.
Wasn't
Yes.
that fascinating?
Yes.
very.
Fascinating.
The letter from Steve Rothke, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's excellent.
with all the information
Yep.
that we've been poking around to find. I
Well, and
thought
that's consistent with what I've been hearing as well.
Mhm.
I mean, that's way better written up.
I still think it belongs, even in spite of the snowplow argument. I still would like to see it on public land outside the fence so that it's more visible. And that's just my view of this.
But I think you have an argument, Caroline, that the homeowner created and paid for this sign and therefore is right to have it on their property. Unless they choose to give it to the town, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that the historic sign has been taken into custody by the NHA,
Unbelievable.
which now won't give it back up.
Right. Love it.
I guess you could say it was hijacked.
You could.
Shanghai?
Yeah.
In
I don't
true
really
whale-
know how to go from here. I just think it should be outside. I very much appreciate all that the homeowner did.
Exactly.
And I did trim the bushes in front of it because you couldn't see it the other day. So I did trespass across the fence with my hand. But I think it's a loss to the community, but I guess it's the NHA that caused that. I don't know if we went to the sign committee, if they would have any interest in it. I don't know. I don't want to complicate things. And I'm really appreciative that we even have the sign.
Yeah, that,
And-
that letter of explanation from Steve was really great and informative, and we very much appreciate the
Oh, my
That-
goodness.
minor but sort of major detail that they took the effort and to recreate the sign.
The Spivies did a really nice job.
They
They
did.
have worked with the regulations and everything all the way along.
Very nice.
And that
Angus.
is, and that historical packet they put together is exemplary
Mhm.
when they first redid the house. It's an amazing document.
Yeah.
Okay,
If
Holly,
nobody-
anything about Resilient Nantucket that we don't already know?
Just that I mentioned previously that we are asking for comments on the draft, but I also just wanted to share with you on the town's website. If you haven't been to the website yet, this is where our draft design guidelines are right here for review. I'm asking for comments by the end of the month, so I can give them to our consultant. So I appreciate it if you do have any additional. But I also wanted to also mention that, if you go over to events and presentations, our consultants are working on a final forum. I think I mentioned it previously. This is basically a worldwide event. We've got folks from all over the world that are speaking and attending. We've got folks that are from the UK. We've got some policy makers within our own state of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And this should be a fantastic event. You'll see all our sponsors that we have down here. And just recently, the National Alliance of Preservation Commissions, who did our camp training for the commissions, as well as our advisory board members, have also tacked on and said that they would sponsor as well. Of course, it's a more or less pushing the information out there and getting people to register. So if you have not registered, please do so. This is all with benefit of the NCTV folks have been helping us. And then there's going to be some other folks that are going to be helping them out with our consultants. Also, you'll see on here is the last virtual presentations that we've had for this grant project. So this is basically going to wrap up that MVP Action Grant project that we've been working on. And the state is really looking forward to utilizing this program that we've put together with our consultants as a example for other coastal historic communities within the Commonwealth. So thanks for everybody's input that has provided so far. It's been a great thing, and can't wait to have that final document and ready to go to be used for our historic district, and also be used within the coastal resiliency planning process as well. So
Thanks for all your help with this, Holly.
Wow,
thank you.
Huge, I
Thank
know.
Thank you.
very
Well,
nice.
We've got some fantastic consultants, and it's amazing how small, really and truly, if you haven't realized it yet, how small the preservation world is in this, not just this country, but even the world itself. So thank you. Just wanted to share that with you, and that's it.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could I have a motion to approve the comments we've made and also continue
Yeah.
our
Make that motion.
refinement? Thank you very much, Mary.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, Caroline,
Yes.
Mary Lathrop, Will,
Yes.
Angus McLeod,
Aye.
Rob Benchley is an aye. And we'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Thank you very much. All those in favor, Caroline
Yes.
and Mary Lathrop, Will,
Yes.
Angus,
Aye.
Rob is an aye. The ayes have it. And I changed my background.
Oh,